In the lively atmosphere of the culinary festival at Moretti's Kitchen in Chicago, where the aroma of fragrant Italian dishes mingled with the sound of cheerful laughter, a disguised CEO walked in, unaware that he was about to confront a shocking truth. Ethan Moretti, the founder of the restaurant, posed as an amateur food journalist to check things out firsthand, but two young boys behind him were whispering about a man who ruined our mom's life. Who were they talking about, and what secret was about to be exposed? An emotional confrontation, a hidden past, and a journey of redemption await. If you want to uncover the truth, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel right now to catch what happens next. Don't forget to comment your thoughts to help spread this meaningful message. Moretti's Kitchen, a renowned Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago, was vibrant during the culinary festival, with wooden tables draped in white linen set elegantly in the scent of fresh tomato sauce mingling with the crackle of pizza ovens. Ethan Moretti, 45 years old, stepped into his own restaurant, but no one recognized him. Wearing a baseball cap and a simple button-up shirt, he posed as an amateur food journalist to check things out firsthand. Despite glowing online reviews, steady revenue, and seemingly happy staff, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that he was losing touch with the heart of the restaurant. He told himself, "I need to know the truth, from the customers themselves." Ethan chose a small table near the window, where pale noon sunlight filtered through thin curtains, highlighting details he once took pride in. Italian paintings hung on the walls, the soft strains of a violin playing in the background. A young server, Mia, 22 years old, approached his table, her smile radiant. "Hi. What can I get started for you?" Ethan smiled, his voice deliberately soft. "Just a glass of water for now, and I'll need a minute to look at the menu." Mia nodded, turned away, leaving Ethan with the menu he knew by heart. But he didn't read it, he listened, observed, waiting for honest feedback from the customers. Just as he began to relax, a whisper from the table behind him jolted him. Two boys, their voices tense, cut through the ambient noise. "Do you think we'll see him?" the younger one, Noah, 12 years old, asked, his voice trembling as if trying to hide fear. The older boy, Liam, 14 years old, replied sharply, "Mom said he's usually here around this time. We have to find him, he made her miserable." Ethan tilted his head, pretending to study the menu, but his heart pounded. Made her miserable? He wondered, who are they talking about? Noah whispered, his voice lower, "But what if we get caught, Liam?" "We're not supposed to be here." Liam cut him off, his tone firm. "We won't get caught. Mom said he's the one behind it all, he took everything from her." Ethan gripped his hands tightly, his eyes darkening. Took everything. He told himself, memories flooding back, of tough decisions, employees who had left. Could he be the one they were talking about? He wasn't sure, but anxiety began to rise, and he knew he couldn't take his eyes off those boys. Mia returned, placing the glass of water on the table, her smile still bright. "Ready to order yet, sir?" Ethan nodded, his voice slightly off. "I'll have the house special." Mia jotted down the order quickly and left, leaving Ethan with his chaotic thoughts. He leaned slightly, trying to catch more of the boys' conversation. Liam whispered, his voice full of anger, "Mom said he took her recipes, made them his own. Then he made it so she couldn't get a job. She's working at a grocery store now, Noah." "All because of him," Noah replied, his voice shaky. "But what if he doesn't care? If we tell him, will he even change?" Ethan felt his stomach twist, his vision blurring as memories rushed in. The image of a passionate young chef who once worked at Moretti's Kitchen but left abruptly. He told himself, "Did I really do that? I don't remember." He stood up, adjusted his baseball cap, and walked to the counter near the kitchen, pretending to wait for his food. He turned to Mia, his voice trying to sound casual. "Mia, those two boys over there, do they come here often?" Mia glanced over her shoulder, shaking her head. "No, sir. I've never seen them before." "Why? Are they bothering you?" Ethan shook his head quickly. "No, just curious." Back at his table, Ethan couldn't sit still. Liam continued, his voice lower. "Mom said his name is Ethan Moretti, the guy who owns this place. She has a picture of him and she said he can't hide forever. Noah whispered, "But what if we're wrong, Liam?" Liam snapped, "We're not wrong. Mom would never lie." Ethan felt the blood in his veins turn cold. "They're talking about me," he told himself, "but what did I do to their mother?" Unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, Ethan stood up, took a deep breath, and walked to the boys' table. He smiled, his voice gentle. "Hey, kids. You seem worried. Is something wrong?" Liam straightened, his eyes icy. "Who are you? This is none of your business." Ethan kept his composure, but his heart raced. "I just want to help." "I heard you mention someone, Ethan Moretti. Can I do anything?" Noah paled, whispering to Liam. "Liam, look at his face. It's like the picture Mom has." Liam stared at Ethan, his eyes blazing. You're Ethan Moretti, aren't you? The guy who ruined our mom's life, Sophia Bennett." Ethan stood in front of Liam and Noah, trying to keep his voice calm. "Liam, Noah, we need to talk." "But not here. Follow me to that quiet corner over there." Liam hesitated, his eyes still full of suspicion, but Noah, with a confused expression, nodded slightly, tugging his brother's arm to follow. They sat down at a small table in a corner of the restaurant, where the violin music was faint and the lighting softer. He knew he couldn't keep up the disguise. If he wanted to uncover the secret and protect the restaurant, he had to face the truth. He took a deep breath, looking straight into the boy's eyes. "I'm not a journalist. I'm Ethan Moretti, the owner of Moretti's Kitchen. I don't know the whole story about your mom, but I swear I'll find out the truth." Noah's face paled, his eyes widening, while Liam clenched his fists, his gaze blazing with anger. "You've been lying this whole time. Why should we trust you?" Ethan raised his hand, his voice low but sincere. "I understand you're angry. I disguised myself to check on the restaurant, not to deceive anyone. I need your help. Tell me everything your mom said." Noah, after a moment of hesitation, spoke up. "Mom said someone in the restaurant helped her. That person told her you took her recipes and ruined her career." Ethan frowned. "Who was that person?" Liam shook his head. "Mom didn't say their name, just that they still work here." The words hit like a bolt of lightning. "A traitor and his team?" Ethan glanced around, his eyes pausing on Mia, serving a nearby table, and Carlo, the head chef, busy in the kitchen. Liam crossed his arms, his voice icy. "Mom said you stole her recipes, made them your own. Then you spread rumors that kept her from getting a job in the food industry. Now she's working at a grocery store, struggling to get by, all because of you." Noah, his voice trembling, added, "Mom cries every night. She says you're the reason our family fell apart." The boy's words cut into Ethan's heart like a knife. He remembered the dispute with Sophia 5 years ago. She claimed the lasagna recipe was hers, but Ethan, confident in his own creativity, dismissed her. After that, Sophia left, and he heard she struggled in her career. But rumors, he had never done that, or had he inadvertently caused it? "I never meant to hurt your mom," Ethan said, his eyes sincere. "But if I'm at fault, I want to make it right. Tell me everything." Liam pulled an envelope from his bag, the same kind Ethan had seen in the kitchen. He opened it, revealing a handwritten note. "Lasagna recipe, Sophia Bennett, 2018. Stolen by Ethan Moretti." Attached was a screenshot of an email from a major restaurant, rejecting Sophia because "we heard she has ethical issues in her work." Ethan read it, his hands shaking. "Who sent this email?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Noah replied, "Mom doesn't know, but she said everyone in the industry turned their back on her after she left here." Ethan felt his mind spinning. He hadn't sent that email, but someone had, and Moretti's Kitchen was dragged into it. Was someone deliberately sabotaging Sophia, or even him? Just then, Mia appeared, carrying a steaming plate of lasagna. "Here's your house special," she said, then glanced at the boys, slightly surprised. Ethan motioned for her to leave, but Mia's eyes flicked to the envelope, and a fleeting look of tension crossed her face. Ethan noticed but said nothing, focusing on Liam. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "I can meet your mom, talk face to face." Liam snapped. "Talk? You think Mom will believe you? She says you're a liar." Noah, softer, added, But Mom also said she just wants back what's hers. Ethan nodded, trying to stay calm. Okay, I'll find your mom, but I need time to investigate this email. Someone might be using my name. Before he could think further, a commotion erupted from the main entrance. Marco Rossi, a notorious food critic, stood up, his voice booming across the restaurant. This lasagna is an insult. Moretti's kitchen has lost its edge. Customers whispered excitedly. Staff scrambled to apologize. Ethan felt his blood boil. The lasagna couldn't be that bad. His kitchen team was meticulously trained, the recipe unchanged. Or was someone deliberately sabotaging it? He turned to Liam and Noah. I have to handle this. Stay here, don't go anywhere. Ethan rushed toward the kitchen, where Carlo's shouts echoed through the steam. Someone dumped salt in the sauce. The pot of tomato sauce steamed furiously, the entire kitchen crew frozen in shock. Ethan stormed in, his eyes scanning everyone, Carlo, the sous chefs, and Mia, who had just appeared with an empty tray. Unable to hold back any longer, he yanked off his baseball cap, tossing it onto the counter, his voice ringing with authority. Enough. I'm Ethan Moretti, the owner of this restaurant. I went undercover to check things out, but it's clear someone's sabotaging us. Who messed with the sauce? Speak now. The kitchen air seemed to solidify. Carlo's jaw dropped, a sous chef fumbled the knife, and Mia went pale, her hands trembling. Mr. Moretti, Carlo stammered, his voice stunned. We thought you were in the office. Mia, her eyes darting, took a step back. Ethan advanced, his voice low but sharp. Mia, what do you know about this? And about Sophia Bennett? Mia shook, shaking her head. I didn't do anything. I just serve. But her voice faltered, and Ethan didn't miss the panic in her eyes. He turned to Carlo. Have you heard anyone mention Sophia lately? Carlo hesitated. Mia said she knew a friend of Sophia's, but I thought it was just gossip. Ethan clenched his fists, anger surging. He glanced back and saw Mia inching toward the back door. Mia, he called, his voice booming, startling the entire kitchen. Mia froze, turning, her eyes red. I was just grabbing something, she stammered. Ethan stepped closer, his voice cold. What do you know about Sophia? And what's going on here? Mia pressed her lips together, then sighed. Fine, I'll talk. But outside, they stepped into the alley behind the restaurant, where dim streetlights cast shadows on the brick wall. Mia trembled. Sophia's my friend. She said you ruined her life, and I believed her. I shared info about the recipes, about the restaurant, but I didn't send the email slandering her. Ethan clenched his fists. What else did you do? Dump salt in the sauce? Mia shook her head vehemently. No, I swear. Before Ethan could press further, a loud noise echoed from the end of the alley. A figure darted past, dropping a phone. Ethan picked it up, the screen displaying a text. Plan ready. Moretti falls tonight. His heart seemed to stop. This wasn't just about Sophia or Mia. A bigger plot was targeting Moretti's kitchen. He turned to Mia. Do you know who's behind this? Mia, her eyes red, shook her head. Sophia mentioned someone powerful in the industry, but she didn't name them. Ethan gripped the phone tightly, determined to protect his restaurant. He knew he had to confront Sophia and Marco Rossi, but first, he needed to uncover the mastermind. With Liam, Noah, and a team that might harbor a traitor, Ethan stepped into his biggest battle yet, not just to save his reputation, but to atone for past mistakes. Ethan gripped the phone tightly, the message plan ready. Moretti falls tonight, seared into his mind. The alley behind the restaurant was cold, the dim streetlight casting shadows on Mia's pale face. She repeated, her voice trembling. I don't know who's behind it, I swear. Sophia only said someone powerful in the industry was helping her. Ethan stared into Mia's eyes, trying to discern truth from lies. But his gut told him that Mia, though involved, wasn't the mastermind. He slipped the phone into his pocket, his voice low. Mia, get back to work. But I'll be watching you. If you're hiding something, I'll find out. Mia nodded silently, slipping back into the restaurant, leaving Ethan with a storm of thoughts. He returned to the kitchen, where Carlo and the team were scrambling to salvage the sabotaged tomato sauce. Liam and Noah, still in the restaurant's corner, watched him with eyes both anxious and wary. Ethan motioned to them, "Follow me. We need to talk to Marco Rossi." The boys hesitated but eventually followed, weaving through the chaotic restaurant floor, where customers still whispered about Marco's scathing critique. Ethan stopped at Marco's table, his voice calm but sharp. "Mr. Rossi, I need a private word with you." Now, Marco raised an eyebrow, but the smug look on his face made Ethan suspicious. He stood, following Ethan to a quiet corner. "What do you know about Sophia Bennett?" Ethan asked bluntly, cutting to the chase. Marco smirked. "Sophia? That failed chef who worked for you. I heard she was fired for incompetence." Ethan clenched his fists. "Don't play dumb. I know someone's trying to sabotage this restaurant, and you showed up right when everything went haywire." Marco shrugged. "Mr. Moretti, I just do my job, review food. If your lasagna's bad, that's not my fault." But Marco's evasive glance convinced Ethan he was hiding something. Just then, a shout rang out from the kitchen. Ethan, Marco, Liam, and Noah rushed over, finding Carlo pinning a young sous chef, Tony, with a jar of salt in his hand. "I caught him. He was about to dump more salt in the new sauce." Carlo bellowed. Tony, his face flushed, struggled. "I didn't do anything. I was just checking the spices." Ethan stepped forward, his gaze like steel. "Tony, tell the truth. Who put you up to this?" Tony lowered his head, sweat rolling down his forehead. After a tense silence, he whispered, It was Mr. Rossi. He paid me to ruin the food. He wanted to bring the restaurant down." The air seemed to freeze. Marco let out a laugh, but his voice faltered. "He's lying. I'm a critic, not a saboteur." Ethan turned to Marco, his voice low. "Then why does this phone mention a plan to make Moretti fall?" He held up the phone found in the alley, its screen still blowing. Marco's face paled and he lunged for it, but Ethan yanked it back. "The police will love to see this," Ethan said, his eyes never leaving Marco. Liam, unable to hold back, shouted, "What about our mom? Are you involved with her?" Marco shook his head, but Ethan caught a detail. "Tony, did you send the email slandering Sophia Bennett?" Tony, now trembling, nodded. "Mr. Rossi told me to do it. He said if Sophia was ruined, she'd help him take down Moretti easier." Noah burst into tears and Liam lunged at Marco, but Ethan held him back. "Enough, Liam, I'll handle this." Ethan called the police, handing over Tony and the phone as evidence. Marco, despite trying to stay composed, couldn't hide his panic as staff escorted him out. Ethan turned to Liam and Noah, his voice softening. "I'll meet your mom. I don't know the full truth about the lasagna recipe, but I promise to do what's right." Noah nodded while Liam, still angry, didn't object. After the police left, Ethan faced Mia and Carlo. "Mia, you were wrong to help Sophia behind my back, but I'll give you a chance to make it right. Work hard and don't let me lose trust in you again." Mia nodded, her eyes red. To Carlo, Ethan clapped a hand on his shoulder. "Thanks for catching Tony. I need you to keep leading the kitchen." Carlo nodded, his eyes resolute. Ethan sat down, watching the restaurant slowly return to normal. Marco Rossi, the main culprit, had been exposed, but the question about Sophia remained unanswered. Was the lasagna recipe truly hers? And could he heal the wounds of the past? He pulled out his phone, found Sophia's number, and resolved to call her. As the line rang, Ethan knew he was heading into a final confrontation, not just to save Moretti's kitchen, but to rediscover himself. Ethan sat in a corner of Moretti's kitchen, the soft golden light casting shadows on his pensive face. After Marco Rossi and Tony were taken away by the police, the restaurant slowly regained its rhythm, but Ethan's mind remained in turmoil. The phone in his hand displayed Sophia Bennett's number, reluctantly provided by Mia after confessing her role. Ethan knew this call would be a turning point, not just to clear up the mystery of the lasagna recipe, but to atone for past mistakes. But first, he glanced at Liam and Noah, the two boys still sitting at the corner table, their eyes a mix of hope and suspicion. He couldn't let them leave with their pain unresolved. Ethan stood, approaching their table with a warm smile. "You guys have had a long day. I'd like to treat you to a special feast before you head home." "Sound good?" Noah looked up, his eyes sparkling, but Liam crossed his arms, his voice firm. "Are you doing this to make us forgive you?" Ethan shook his head. "No, Liam. I just want you to feel the heart of Moretti's kitchen, something I've lost and am trying to rediscover. Give me a chance." After a moment of silence, Liam gave a slight nod, and Noah smiled shyly. Ethan called Carlo and the kitchen team, requesting a lavish spread: freshly made lasagna with the original recipe, fragrant margherita pizza, creamy carbonara pasta, and sweet tiramisu for dessert. The restaurant staff, though exhausted from the chaos, rallied eagerly, as if eager to prove that Moretti's kitchen was still a place of joy and flavor. Mia, her eyes filled with remorse, volunteered to serve Liam and Noah's table, bringing each dish with a genuine smile. "Try the lasagna," she said softly. "It's the best we've got." When the steaming plate of lasagna was set down, Noah took a deep breath, his eyes gleaming. "It smells like what Mom used to make when I was little." Liam, trying to stay stoic, couldn't resist taking a bite. He paused, then whispered, "It's really good." Ethan sat with them, not eating, just quietly watching. He shared stories about the early days of opening the restaurant, his dream of bringing Italian flavors to Chicago, and the mistakes he'd made. "I'm not perfect," he said, looking directly into Liam's eyes. "But I promise to meet your mom and make things right." The feast lasted nearly 2 hours, Noah's laughter ringing out as he tried the tiramisu, while Liam gradually relaxed, even asking Ethan how to make pizza. When the meal ended, Ethan stood, grabbing a large takeout box from the counter filled with lasagna and tiramisu. "Take this home to your mom," he said, handing the box to Noah. "Tell her I'll call soon. I want to help her get back what she deserves." Liam looked at Ethan, his hostility fading. "You promise?" Ethan nodded. "I promise." He walked the boys to the door, hailed a taxi, and paid the fare in advance. As the car pulled away, Noah waved through the window, and Liam gave a small nod. Ethan stood there, watching until the taxi disappeared, a mix of relief and determination washing over him. He returned to the restaurant, picked up his phone, and dialed Sophia's number. The line rang, but no one answered. Ethan sent a short text. "Sophia, it's Ethan. We need to talk. I want to make things right." He slipped the phone into his pocket, knowing the journey wasn't over. The next morning, Ethan drove to the suburban neighborhood where Sophia lived, an address Mia had provided. The small white house, with a garden full of wildflowers, had a simple but warm charm. Ethan held the leftover lasagna from the night before, took a deep breath, and knocked. A woman opened the door, Sophia, but no longer the passionate chef he once knew. Her hair was disheveled, her eyes tired, yet they still carried a spark of resilience. "Ethan," she said, her voice cold. "What are you doing here?" Ethan held up the lasagna box. "I brought this for you. And I came to apologize." Sophia frowned but opened the door, inviting him in. In the small kitchen, Ethan told her everything about Marco, Tony, the slanderous email, and what he'd realized about his own mistakes. "I didn't mean to take your recipe," he said, his voice sincere. "But I was wrong not to listen to you, not to respect your contribution. I want to make it right." Sophia stayed silent, then pulled an old notebook from a drawer, filled with her handwritten lasagna recipe. "This is mine," she said, "but I'm done fighting. I just want a life for Liam and Noah." Ethan stood in front of Moretti's kitchen, the golden hues of the sunset bathing the familiar wooden sign. A month had passed since his heartfelt meeting with Sophia Bennett at her suburban home. That honest conversation not only resolved their conflict but also opened a new chapter for both of them. After handing her the check, Ethan wasn't sure Sophia would accept his offer to return, but last week she called him, her voice resolute. "Ethan, I want to come back. Not for the money, but because I miss the kitchen at Moretti's." Ethan smiled over the phone, feeling as if he'd rediscovered a missing piece of the puzzle. Today was Sophia's official first day back as head chef. Ethan stepped into the kitchen, where Sophia was directing the team with the confidence and passion that once made her a star. "Careful with the tomato sauce, keep the heat low," she called, her eyes sparkling. Carlo, now her assistant, nodded, flashing a rare smile. Mia, after redeeming herself through hard work, was fitting in better, though she kept her distance from Ethan to avoid revisiting her past mistake. The aroma of lasagna filled the kitchen, and Ethan knew that with Sophia leading, Moretti's kitchen was reclaiming its soul. Out on the restaurant floor, Liam and Noah had become regulars. The two boys, no longer harboring hostile glares, often came by after school, sitting at the table near the window. Noah loved sketching on paper napkins, while Liam, though still guarded, started asking Sophia about making pizza. Today, Ethan saw Noah rush in, clutching a drawing. "Uncle Ethan, I drew the restaurant." The colorful sketch depicted Moretti's kitchen in all its vibrancy, with Ethan standing beside Sophia and the two boys grinning brightly. Ethan ruffled Noah's hair, his voice warm. "I'm hanging this in my office." Liam, standing nearby, said softly, "Mom's a lot happier now." "Thanks, Uncle," Ethan nodded, a wave of happiness spreading through him. Sophia didn't stop at remaking the lasagna. She proposed expanding the menu, adding traditional Tuscan dishes from her grandmother's hometown, like ribollita and pappardelle al cinghiale. Ethan backed her wholeheartedly, and the restaurant's revenue soared. More than that, Sophia convinced Ethan to open a second Moretti's kitchen location in the suburbs, near her home. "It'll be convenient for Liam and Noah," she said, her eyes twinkling. Ethan agreed, and the new branch quickly became a favorite among local families. Sophia managed both kitchens, shuttling between them, but her smile never faded. "I never thought I'd love this work again," she confided to Ethan one evening, as they sat together after closing. Ethan, watching Sophia, Liam, and Noah, felt a peace he'd long lost. The restaurant wasn't just a business, it was a home where wounds were healed. He often invited Liam and Noah into the kitchen, teaching them to knead pizza dough, and their laughter reminded him why he started Moretti's Kitchen, to bring joy through every dish. One evening, with the restaurant packed, Ethan stood, clinking a wine glass to draw attention. "Thank you all for being here," he said, his voice carrying. "Moretti's Kitchen isn't just mine, it's Sophia's, the team's, and everyone who believes in us. We've overcome challenges, and today, I want to honor the person who brought the soul back to this place, Sophia Bennett." The crowd applauded, Sophia blushed, and Liam and Noah whistled proudly. As night fell, Ethan sat alone in his office, looking at Noah's drawing on the wall. He reflected on the journey, from doubt and confrontation to forgiveness and reunion. The lesson was simple but profound. Mistakes don't define a person, how they make amends does. Ethan had been wrong to dismiss Sophia, but by facing and fixing his errors, he didn't just save the restaurant, he built a new family. He picked up his phone, texting Sophia, "Thank you for coming back. Moretti's Kitchen is our home." Her reply came instantly, "Thank you for giving me a chance." "We're making magic together." Ethan stood, turned off the light, and stepped outside. The moonlight bathed Moretti's Kitchen, now more than a restaurant, a symbol of forgiveness, hope, and humanity. He smiled, knowing that with Sophia, Liam, Noah, and the team by his side, the future would always shine bright. Moretti's Kitchen glowed under the moonlight, no longer just a restaurant but a symbol of forgiveness and reunion. Ethan Moretti, standing at the entrance, watched customers come and go, hearing the laughter of Liam and Noah echoing from the table near the window, where Sophia had just delivered a steaming plate of lasagna. Sophia, as head chef, had brought the soul back to the restaurant, turning it into a home for the team and patrons alike. The second location in the suburbs was thriving, and Ethan felt a simple joy watching people gather around hearty Italian dishes. The old conflicts between him and Sophia had been resolved, replaced by friendship and trust. Liam and Noah, now like family, frequented the restaurant, bringing laughter and colorful drawings that adorned the restaurant's walls. Ethan knew this journey hadn't just saved Moretti's Kitchen, it had helped him rediscover himself. The message of this story is the power of forgiveness and redemption. Mistakes don't define a person, how we confront and correct them shapes our worth. Ethan and Sophia chose to trust each other, building a brighter future together, proving that sincerity can heal any wound. Moretti's kitchen now serves more than food. It spreads hope and humanity through every plate of lasagna, every smile. Do you love this story of redemption and family? Follow the journey of Moretti's Kitchen and other inspiring tales on our YouTube channel. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and don't miss our videos about food, people, and profound life lessons. Every subscription supports us in sharing meaningful stories, connecting people through a love of food and compassion.